Hello, welcome back. It's the Big Blue Whale. I'm back by popular demand. Yeah, by very popular demand. Okay, so we're gonna have a deep, like I mentioned in the last video, we're gonna have a deeper dive video today. Let me just close the window. Very professional. Okay, so we're gonna have a deeper look at the EOS game today. First, I'm gonna unlink my scatter. That's the other account I was showing you for the. One more thing. I actually got my recording software to capture the pop-ups, so you can see exactly what's going on. Whereas last time I was kind of hinting at you, things were happening. So I'm gonna use my other account that I've been playing the game with, and I'll show you what my account is now and some of the things I'm doing with my account. Yeah, I don't really have like a super good idea what this is gonna be, but I'm just gonna go over things that I find interesting about the game. I find one of the most interesting thing to me right off the bat is the business model. I think it's very clever how they structure the game in terms of being a decentralized application on the EOS blockchain. So here again, you can see that I have a pop-up menu. One of the things you could do to make your life a little easier is whitelist the action. So you want to hit this, and this you could change or not change. This is basically saying, okay, this contract is taking this smart contract is taking this action, and these are the variables. And you could click to make sure that only this specific variable is whitelist. If this is another name, let's say my other account, Big Blue Whale, then scatter won't just let you perform the action automatically. What this does by checking this box is that this thing won't show up the next time you click on it. So I'm just gonna uncheck that, so just in case I want to use my other account to play the game, my Big Blue Whale account. That way I could just click rebirth and then my hero will get reborn. I don't have to see this pop up again. So I'm just hit accept. So that thing won't pop up ever again. So you don't have to click it every single time. And for whatever reason my authentication failed. Now I have scatter logged in. Let's try that again. Not a great start to the video if this is the case. Please work. Please work. Okay, there we go. So some kinks in the game happens. So I reach floor 13 to match ordered Bear Claw Superior Melting Stone Iron. I'm gonna go to my inventory. One of the things I say the business model is very interesting is because if you know anything about the EOS blockchain, and I keep hammering home, and I'm gonna have more videos on the EOS blockchain. I've been giving talks, describe the structure, so I'm gonna have video on that. Just kind of help you wrap your head around how the whole system works. So if you click, you can see I have a bunch of material here, but they fill up. But you could purchase more inventory space by clicking here. So you can see you can expand 4 inventory cells by 0.1000 EOS. And why this is interesting, I know for anyone who has played any kind of these games, like this is kind of standard procedure. But for a blockchain game, I think this is a genius invention, genius idea, because you have to pay RAM to store extra information. So if you want to store more items in the game, the developer is gonna have to either subsidize your usage of the inventory, or they could make you pay for it. I think it's a great way to incorporate. I know it's such a small thing, but you know, sometimes like we have like these different concepts in EOS where like sometimes you get the user to pay for the RAM, sometimes the developer will pay for the RAM, and there's just no clear answer. Whereas this is structured in a way where everything just makes sense. You know, when you're playing the game, it's like, oh, I want some inventory slot, they're gonna charge me for it. Fine. You know, it's a very normal thing to do. So I really like how they implemented this. And so And another thing that I really like what they did is that the game itself doesn't sell any weapons. Any weapons that um, you must purchase from other players or you craft it yourself. So here is the item I was talking about in the last video, which you should definitely buy, even though it's a little pricey. Maybe I'll knock it down a few EOS. So any items come on, this guy's selling it for 4 EOS. I digress. But yeah, anytime you want to upgrade your weapons, you have to purchase from other player, which is this means that a big portion of the game is a huge portion of the game is user driven. You have to have people fighting to the top levels to gather those materials and to make those items for newer players or other players to purchase them. The only thing the game sells is your first 3 initial characters and magic waters. You do need magic water for a lot of things like leveling up your pet, leveling up character, or but you don't always have to buy them. You could destroy your item and you get some of your magic water back. So you could, apart from the initial investment of the zero point 0.3 EOS for your characters, you could play this game for free. Actually pay for free. With a caveat, because you have to deal with the EOS limitations, resource limitations. I do have a lot of EOS stake in this account just because I do a lot of things, development and non-development related. Just kind of just like I want to have enough resources to play around with these applications that are happening. Um, and yeah, so wait, back to the game. Here you can see all the books, all the items, and you can see all the trading prices they were going for. Let me see how much the armors were trading around. Maybe I did charge a little too much for the armor. But I pay quite a bit for the material, so I was kind of hoping I could recuperate at least. Not just recuperate, at least make a little bit of profit on it. Let's see. What's the most? I guess this is the most expensive item so far, which is not that expensive. Oh, someone sold this for 1 EOS. Are you kidding me? Oh, come on. My material was like 3 EOS. So, anyways, so more things on sale happening here. Go to materials. If you click on a material, it show you what kind of things you craft. Yeah, so I really like the game, and that is a user-driven marketplace. The only thing I would say about this game being a decentralized application is that I have to say maybe you don't truly control your assets, and the marketplace is not decentralized. Let me clarify what I mean. So the marketplace, when you go to sell an item or you buy an item, you do it through the smart contract, which is normal. But the contract itself is held by just the game developers. This is the practice for a lot of the decentralized applications that are being developed on the EOS blockchain. But you have to understand that EOS blockchain smart contracts are slightly different from Ethereum smart contracts, in that the developer can actually update the contracts. I don't know what it means as of now. I don't know what it means exactly as of now. So they could, in theory, wipe out your items. I think with the latest EOS software update, they can't do that unless they have all the tokens or assets under their control again. So, but that is something to pay attention to. But I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Looks like someone is dumping a lot of rare material on the market. So yeah, I'm not gonna buy anything just 'cause I don't think anything's at a good price. I think uh, this usually go for point 0.8 EOS Velvet. I mean, but come on, like 0.6 EOS just for that, and you do that to craft the rope item. So I don't know how that guy sold it, why that guy sold it for 1 EOS. I guess he just didn't care, maybe. Okay, bones are usually pretty expensive, but I mean, obviously, as more players come in, um, they put more items on market. So when the supply increases, demand stays the same, price tends to drop. So hopefully, uh, with the release of the mobile application, there'll be a lot more players. But I'm not entirely sure that will happen because there are still a lot of people who are afraid to put in their private keys into different applications, even Scatter, which is one of the most trusted Chrome extensions, which is understandable because in the Bitcoin and Ethereum space, your private key is permanent. So if you put it in a malicious application or potentially malicious application, you could never take it back, and two, well, I mean, I guess the only thing is you can't take it back, and two, you can't change it. So if it does get compromised, either because the application developer went rogue or someone compromised the application developer's access to the application, you're screwed because that your public private key is your account. But with EOS, you can actually change your private key, and that has made me feel much safer uh, when it comes to entering my private key into different applications. I still take precautions. I have set up special private keys for different applications and linked them to specific actions in specific applications. I know that might be a little bit confusing, but maybe I'll show you what I mean. So if I go to which one was it? I don't think that any of them are show. So I have to go to Cleos. So I was doing something else there. Let's just clear that. Okay, no, that didn't work. Okay, so if I go to Cleos, UHTTPS, eos.graymass.com, get account. This is my Genesis account. So okay, so you can see here, I have a few keys. I have my owner key, I have my active key, and I have these buy sell RAM key and this tweet key. So what I did here was I set up special keys under the privilege of active keys, which allow, and then I set this key especially associated with the buy and selling RAM action on the EOS mainnet, the system contract. But we'll put it in very simple terms. What this means is that that key could only be used to buy or sell RAM on my account. Now, if someone does compromise that key, it's still gonna give me a lot of headache. But what they won't be able to do is change my active key or change my owner key. That means I will still have or unstake my tokens or transfer my tokens. What they could do is buy and sell a bunch of RAM a bunch of times to exhaust out of my resource usage and maybe lose a whole bunch of money to buying selling RAM. But I would probably I have set up a system where if a bunch of stuff happening that looks suspicious, I'll get alerts and I go in, I could change the key and I'll just remove the key. Actually, I don't think you remove the key, which is kind of strange. I hope they well, at least I don't know if you can. So please let me know if you know if you could remove the key. I'll give you a shout out on the video. Yeah. So to to put your private key into applications for EOS is much less risky than in say in Ethereum or Bitcoin. In Ethereum, Bitcoin, when your key gets compromised, your funds gets compromised. In EOS, when your key gets compromised, the action that's if you set up correctly, the action associated with that key gets compromised, but you can still change it. So maybe I'll show how to set up another key so you can use it on your mobile to play the game. I don't think EOS Knights allows you to use a special key right now because everything, all the action that's done, uh, there's you kind of when you're buying some items, you have to send money to the account to the EOS Knights IO account. I have tried to use my buy sell RAM key for I linked it up to the rebirth action on the EOS Knights IO smart contract, but that didn't seem to work. I tried it on my mobile. It didn't seem to work. So if anyone could clarify on that, maybe developers could, that'd be great. Let me see what else is there. Again, video is not meant to be a gameplay video. Maybe I'll do one, but like the game is pretty simple. You kind of get what's going on. But I really like how they structure the business model. The game itself, I think, is great. It's one of the most polished games I've seen on EOS. Um, the I think it could use a bit more tie-in with the blockchain space. If you know the game, well, haven't been released, Pumped Up Wars. This is a game I love the idea of. You know, this kind of takes all the blockchain jargons and characters. You know, you have like Damnum or fighting Vitalik or Crypto Kitty, and then Vitalik has a sword made of ram. And it's a very cool references for the people who've been paying attention to space. But I guess you know it's a better way to appeal to the general audience uh, who might not get the references. But overall, I still think if you have a maybe I don't know maybe not zombies, maybe some other kind of character. Maybe they have like I don't know increase spaces like increase block size. I don't know something cool for like us blockchain geeks to kind of nerd out a little bit. But yeah, so right. I bought a bunch of pets. I was hoping I'll get really lucky and get a legendary, but I didn't. But if you do have a lot of pet cars that are, if you have a lot of the same pet cards, you could level them up. You know, I collected two of these zombie cards. This is level one. What I could do is hit the magic water button, and then it leveled up my zombie. Accept. Okay, so that I did not catch how much stat increase, but I'm assuming it's quite a bit. So yeah, so 3,000. I'm not gonna buy anything here. So again, very simple game. If you want to craft some items, you know you could craft. Okay, I have enough material for longsword. I might just do that. Maybe I'll give it to the mage though, because she's got a crappy sword. Craft. So here's the material you need. You craft. It doesn't require any magic water, thankfully. You just craft your longsword. Here's the scatter pop-up. I'm just gonna whitelist it. So next time the craft option shows up, I'm gonna leave the variable as it is. So if these variables change, it's still okay. If the code change is, I actually don't know what this code is. I think it just means craft item. I'm just gonna whitelist everything. So now, next time this account or my big blue whale account crafts an item, that pop-up won't show up. So I got a weapon. It's 108 damages more. So it should get me to another floor, a little bit better. Next things to do for the next video. I need to figure out how the sound works for the game. So, last video I didn't have the pop-up showing. Next video I'm gonna have sound. So baby steps, baby steps. Okay, let me try to think. Oh yeah, I could change floors. I think I could go to. No, I haven't unlocked. This requires level 6. So I haven't unlocked that yet. Is anyone next to leveling? No, not really. But my archer just dies, and my mage is about to die. And it looks like I'm not gonna get too further, so I'm just gonna hit rebirth. And that shouldn't pop up anything because I have whitelisted action. So let's see if that comes to fruition. Or it would just crash and have to reload the page, which is looking increasingly not likely. Hey, look at that. Okay, so I got some sapphire, bear claw, iron. Go to my inventory. When your inventory is about to get full, and I have a bunch of stuff here that I probably won't be able to sell, so I'm just gonna trash some of them. But part is actually pretty useful. I might do something with that. So you're gonna just trash a bunch of stuff. Okay, before I do that, let me see if I can craft anything with these things. Okay, no. No. Okay, that's pretty expensive. And don't need a whole lot of them. Let me see. What can I make with this? A bow, a staff. Again, if you want to advance the game a little faster, I recommend you pay for some of the material. If you see good material for cheap, let's say this one. This one is pretty cheap actually. Opal, you could kind of filter through it. Opal for point something. That's pretty good, I think. Let's see. Yeah, because okay, I guess not. Guess that's the average price. So let's clear that. Let's go do some of the things. Let's go do some of the more rare items. If they ever show up, I could scoop them up for cheap, maybe. Can I select multiple? Oh, I guess I can't select multiple. That sucks. Also, that's a rare that pops up quite a bit. So this is actually quite a rare item, but I think this is quite useful. But it's not the cheapest thing, so that's one thing. So I don't think they're gonna be selling. Ruby is quite rare. Sapphire is quite rare also. Let me see how much it gets. How much I can sell my sapphire for? Not a lot. Not a lot. So pure is pretty common. This is pretty rare. I don't think it's anything for sale. Ancient Dragon's Letter. Yeah, nothing there. This is a little bit more common. Whatever this thing is. Petorles Letter. Petorles. Okay. I bought this for 0.8 EOS, but I guess there's more material now, so it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna focus on maybe getting this guy up to level 7 so I can start using it. I did get pretty high in the beta test, but that's because I have money to spend. So I could just kind of just throw cash at the game and just win. Actually, it's still pretty difficult if you just throw cash at the game. That's another thing I would like, because yes, you could buy lots and lots of pet cards, which would would give you quite a bit of heads up if you get like legendary. But it's really hard to get those legendaries, and it gets to a point of diminishing return pretty quickly. Because each time you level a pet, it requires more cards. I'm not sure if it's exponentially more, but it's quite a bit more. And and the best way to get great items is just to buy material or buy items from other people. So even though you are spending money, you're not spending on the game. The game developer is not taking everything. The most of the profits goes to the other users. However, they do take a cut. I think it's like 5%. I'm not sure. Let me I'm not sure if I hit like buy button, it would say, okay, inventory's full. What? Really? Okay. I'm just gonna trash these things. Trash. Magic water. So you can see that they have just enough space, I think, for uh, your equipment for all your characters plus 2 more slots. So that's not a whole lot of slots. So maybe I'll buy 1 more slot just to kind of show you. It's not too much. It's like 40 cents. So I'm gonna purchase. Another thing I really want to show is the blockchain actions. So I just bought 2 slots there. So 2 slots is 4 slots. 4 slots. Okay. So 4 slots that make us store 4 more items, which means developers have to have whatever how many bytes to store my 4 items worth. So I think it's a very straightforward way of utilizing or pricing RAM. So that's great. Let's see crypto line main. I want to show you all the transactions happening on the EOS Knights smart contract. So there's block Twitter again. So this is why it's so difficult right now to so costly, not difficult, so costly to make transactions because all these block Twitter is spamming the network, driving up the cost, driving up the resource costs for everyone. Transactions are still free, on when you have reserved your bandwidth and reserve your CPU usage. But let's see if we can see some of the transactions from EOS Knight. There might be a few that go by. That there is. If I can just pause it. Yeah, there you go. So this guy just got started. Knight ID 11. I think that's him. That's him just starting, just purchasing a knight. Can't be sure. But let's go to account info. See Austin Knights. IO. Yeah, Austin Knights. Should be right. Okay. Amazon market is tracking. I really like this one, but I'm not sure if it shows everything. Other actions. Sometimes these don't show. Yeah, this doesn't show any of them. You know what? Maybe this is why it doesn't. Okay, maybe they're using a different account for the smart contract. Okay, you're probably very confused right now. I'm gonna end the video here because I think I just stumbled on something. I'll come back to you when I have confirmed or denied what I suspect to be the case. Catch you later.